this is Jennifer with a Crocheted Simplicity. In this video tutorial, I'm going to quickly show you one of my favorite stitches, the extended single crochet stitch. If you haven't worked this stitch before, it's a nice stretchy stitch, has a little bit of a knit look to it, which is one of the reasons I love it, but I do love the stretch. So I'm going to teach you how to work this stitch and work it in the round. I'm also going to teach you how I like to work in continuous rounds when I begin with a row. That might sound confusing right at this moment, but keep watching and you'll soon figure it out. You'll be a pro in no time. And then we'll use this method to make a quick cup sleeve. So to work the extended single crochet, I have chained 37. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, and I began with a chain of 37. Then working into the second chain from my hook, I worked an extended single crochet, and we're going to extended single crochet across. I already worked a few just so that I had something to hold on to show you on camera, but to work the extended single crochet stitch, you simply insert your hook into the back hump of the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through only one loop on your hook, yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So we'll see that again. Insert your hook into the next stitch or chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through both remaining loops. See how easy that stitch is to work? One of my favorites, I just love it. So go ahead and work an extended single crochet into each chain across. I like to work into the back hump of the foundation chain so that I have a nice finished edge on the bottom. So go ahead and work that across. You should have 36 extended single crochet. And then I'll meet you back when we begin working in continuous rounds. Okay, now that you've completed row 1, now we're going to begin working in a continuous round. So we're going to go from a row to a round. And the reason I like to do this is because then I don't have a seam in my project. So to begin working in rounds, simply bring the first stitch you worked up to meet the last stitch you worked. The first of the row, the beginning of the row to the end of the row. And you're going to begin round 2 by inserting your hook into the first stitch, working that first extended single crochet into the first stitch of row 1. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, so that's as simple as that to begin round 2. Now you're going to be left with a little gap and it looks kind of crazy, but we use this tail later on when we're all done and we'll sew that gap closed. Okay, so continue on with round 2 by working an extended single crochet into each stitch across. Again, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So work an extended single crochet into each stitch around, working your last stitch into the last stitch from row 1. Okay, and then I'll meet you back at the beginning of round 3. Okay, I'm at the end of round 2. I'm going to work the last stitch of round 2 into that last stitch from row 1. Okay, now I'm going to begin using a scrap of yarn to keep place at the beginning and ending of my rows, or my rounds. Simply place the scrap of yarn after you work the last stitch in that round, and then begin the next round by working the first stitch of the next round into the first stitch of the previous round. Leave that scrap of yarn there in place. That way when you finish the round, you'll know which one is the last stitch of your round. And then you can just pull the scrap of yarn out, place it after the last stitch worked, and begin the next round. So go ahead and continue on in this fashion. And I'll meet you back at the end of round 3 just to go over the stitch marker placement again real quick. Okay, I've reached the end of round 3. I'm going to work the last stitch of round 3 into the last stitch of round 2. That's that stitch right before the stitch marker you placed. Okay, now I'm going to grab my scrap of yarn and pull it out, place it on top of my work right after my last stitch from round 3, and then I'm going to begin round 4. Oops, let's try that again. I'm going to begin round 4. So just continue around. I'm going to work in continuous rounds all the way around. I'm going to make mine about 9 rounds high. That seems to be about a perfect height for a coffee sleeve. You can work yours as tall or as short as you'd like. I'd also like to note right now too, if your gauge is bigger than mine, your natural gauge, say you crochet looser, then simply work fewer beginning chains in your foundation. Okay. So go ahead and continue on through round 9, and then I'll show you how we take care of this little gap. Okay, I'm all done. I've actually decided to go for an even 10 rounds. So I've worked 10 complete rounds, and I'm at the end. I'm going to join really quick. Well, instead of a slip stitch join to the first stitch of the round, I'm going to loosen my hook, or loosen the loop on my hook, remove my hook, and then insert my hook from back to front through the first stitch. Place the loop back on my hook, pull on my working yarn to tighten it a little, and then pull that loop through to the inside of my work. Okay? Just something I prefer to do, then you don't have the knot from joining on the top of the top edge of your coffee sleeve. Okay, then fasten off. Oops. Fasten off, and then you can weave in your ends. Now, weaving in ends with the extended single crochet, there's a little tip I'm going to give you. This stitch seems a little bit more finicky than others. Oops, if I can get my yarn through my needle. Okay, so first we're going to take care of this gap between the first and last stitch of round 1. Okay, so thread your yarn into your yarn needle and then simply sew together the first and last stitches. And excuse the puppy barking in the background. Now, weaving in ends with the extended single crochet, I found that weaving them in vertically makes your end much less noticeable after you've woven it in. Instead of weaving it in back and forth through the rows. He probably sees a squirrel. Sorry about that. So weave your ends in vertically, and then you'll be all set. And then you can double check fit onto your favorite travel mug. You can add an embellishment if you'd like. And you're all set. Then you've got a coffee sleeve.